This video is brought to you by Aeropress, so stick around a bit later for how you can snag 15% off their coffee makers using my exclusive code during their winter sale ending on December 19th. When it comes to manual lever espresso machines, they are generally very straightforward, but it's also that same inherent simplicity that's part of their appeal. And this appeal has led to the market for hand-press espresso makers growing quite a bit over the last few years, and today we're looking at one of the newcomers into the space. This is the MHW 3-bomber Sonic S7, which is a whole mouthful. But beyond the long name and oddly militaristic logo design, we're here to look at what truly matters. Because those who search out these machines tend to want three things from them: second-to-second control, long-term reliability, and quality espresso. So that's exactly what we're going to look at today, as well as the usual suspects of notable features, performance, and the unavoidable quirks and downsides. But first, in the spirit of full disclosure, the folks over at MHW 3-bomber sent me the Sonic S7 for my review, but of course agreed to my terms of no access to my draft or the contents of this video prior to full public release. But with that out of the way, we're going to dive right into it after a quick word from this video's sponsor, Aeropress. This year, consider giving the gift that keeps on giving: an Aeropress. Not only is it one of the most versatile and easy to use brewing platforms out there, but it's also collected thousands of 5-star reviews, including my own. In fact, an Aeropress was one of my earliest coffee purchases, and it quickly became one of my most recommended brewers for coffee lovers of all skill levels, taste preferences, and budgets. And today it gets even better, because Aeropress is helping out us last-minute gifting procrastinators with their winter sale. Just head over to aeropress.com/Sprometheus or use code Sprometheus at checkout to snag 15% off any of their coffee makers. But you don't want to sleep on this deal, because it ends on the 19th. Thanks to Aeropress for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into it. As I mentioned earlier, lever machines are generally very simple pieces of engineering, and on that front, the S7 is no different. In terms of headlines, of course, it can be purchased with this sturdy, foam-lined rolling travel case that contains the S7 itself, but also a handful of useful tools, like a 58mm bottomless portafilter, a 20-gram deep extraction basket, a leveling tool, a calibrated 30-pound tamper, and a steel measuring cup. The machine itself arrives almost fully assembled and is only in two parts: the lever, which is attached in seconds via a simple thumb screw, and the body, which has a removable drip tray. Everything else, including the group, which contains a dispersion screen, and the 80ml pressure chamber, is ready to go out of the box. Off to the left of the brew chamber is a mechanical gauge that allows for second-to-second visual feedback of the extraction pressure. And finally, as you'd expect, that pressure is created via a sealed plunger mechanism that's controlled by pressing the lever downwards and forcing water into the ground coffee. And all of this appears to be made of finished metal and stainless steel. Making espresso is generally very simple. It's purely just applying pressurized water to ground coffee, but when it comes to every single machine, the devil's in the details. Much like many manual machines, a preheat is recommended, so a chamber full of boiling water is often a good way to start. And of course, I know that for some reason, preheating is somewhat of a controversial topic when it comes to manual machines, but I did find that even dark roasts were sour and pretty unpleasant without it. And for me, the time spent preheating was never wasted, as I'd take advantage of the two 30 to 50 second flushes to get my prep work out of the way. Also, the included tools with the full kit make for a clean and consistent workflow, which reduces possible variables in distribution and tamp pressure. And because the S7 is capable of hitting pump machine pressures and uses a 58mm portafilter, there are no major swings or learning curves when it comes to dialing in the grind and dose. When it comes to brewing, as I mentioned earlier, its chamber holds only 80ml, which is lower than most other options out there. So for the sake of comparison, the Flair 58X holds around 90ml, the Cafe Latte Robot holds about 120, and the Kazakh Rota holds around 140. So the S7's low volume can definitely have an effect on the style of shots it can make. Basically, they're going to be shorter in yield, meaning for those who want to go beyond the standard 1:2 or 1:3 ratios may find themselves barely scraping by, with output maxes around 45 grams with a 20-gram dose and around 55 with an 18-gram dose. Though it should be said that the amount soaked up by the ground coffee will vary not only based on the dose, but also the coffee, its roast level, and its inherent absorption. The lever action itself is smooth and builds pressure easily, though it will slightly flex the stand, and depending on the table surface, the machine can slide or shift if you're not holding onto it. When it comes to the included deep extraction basket, I did find myself enjoying the shots it produced, as it does allow for a smooth, even flow, performing like a hybrid between the traditional tapered basket and the new popular high flow options. And the final product in the cup left nothing to be desired, producing delicious, full-bodied, and well-extracted shots of espresso. After pulling, cleaning is as simple as knocking the puck out, giving the group a quick scrub with the included brush, a flush of water, and a wipe. So all in all, I would say that the Sonic S7 does meet the general expectations of a premium hand-press espresso machine, but that is a great segue into the next section. In my experience, manual espresso machines often share the same areas of struggle, and the Sonic S7 isn't immune from those. For one, there's a lot of time and water needed for warming it up, and as I mentioned earlier, even with darker roasts that don't need as much heat to extract, it does tend to produce sour, weaker shots without it. So a full preheat of the solid steel chamber feels like a must. And of course, you're never going to get the flat temperature profile of an element heated machine, and shots will land around 140 degrees after the recommended preheat, which is about 20 degrees short of a standard PID machine set to 200. But it should be said that the final yield temperature, at least to me, didn't seem to affect the overall shot quality as long as there was enough heat during the extraction itself. Also, the S7 does have a pretty significant footprint when it comes to a manual machine, with the base being 9 inches wide, 10 inches deep, and 16 inches tall, even without the lever up. And finally, we've got to touch on the price point. The Sonic S7 full kit that I have here sells for $850, and the machine alone is $730, which by my count is multiple hundreds of dollars more than its nearest competition. Without a single doubt, I can say that manual lever espresso machines are a unique niche within the already niche interest of being a home barista. And for some, adding even more focus, time, and work to an already highly detailed process requiring minute adjustments and constant focus is too much to ask for just a couple ounces of liquid. But those who relish in the routine and the tactile experience of manual brewing will definitely enjoy the Sonic S7. It produces tasty, well-extracted espresso, it functions smoothly and simply, and it's an attractive and sturdy piece of equipment. Yet I can't bring myself to say it's better than the competition, especially considering the price point. I mean, the Flare 58X functions almost identically, the robot is even simpler and smaller, and the Rota is still the easiest and most portable option I've used to date. So in the end, I think the S7 is a nice addition to the market, but it doesn't really bring any updates or innovations to the table. So for those looking to take the plunge into manual brewing, it could be a bit of a hard sell, especially in a manual lever category that's full of just as effective and less expensive options. But on that note, I think it's time I start wrapping this one up, and as always, pass the conversation on to you. What are your thoughts on the Sonic S7, and what are your thoughts on manual espresso? Is it something you're into, or is it just too much fuss? Drop your answers to those questions and any others you may have in the comment section down below. And as always, I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell button for notifications of new videos posted every Friday. Check out my Instagram @Sprometheus for content throughout the week. Help support the channel by considering becoming a member for exclusive access. And as always, stay caffeinated. Pony Boy.